My first name is Melvin, Melvin. Last name is Fitzgerald, Fitzgerald. My exact title is San Antonio Fire Department Paramedic Engineer. I work with the MIH department. MIH department is a mobile integrated healthcare. The part that I work in is what's called the PIC team, which is Program for Intensive Care Coordination. What we do, we take 100 of the top utilizers for emergency detentions, and we go and see them and visit with them to figure out what they need for us to get them from not going to the hospital so much, because when they go to the hospital, they accrue a bill, and the hospital ends up eating that bill because they're not billed for that, actually. So, well, we got a list of 100 people, so we just follow them wherever they're at. Most of the time, some of them are homeless. It's not as easy to find those. We got them at Haven for Hope and other places, but we kind of most of the time get to meet them at the hospital because, and that's a fix sometimes, because sometimes they don't want to be followed and they don't want to be bothered, so they stop going to the hospital, which is what our job entails, just trying to keep them from going. First of all, when we meet them the first time, we always go out the first time with SAPD. We got 2 police officers, we got 2 paramedics, and right now we have 2 case managers. We used to have 5, but we go out the first time with PD to get to know the people. PD does a background check on most of them, or all of them, and see if they're dangerous or anything. Those that are not dangerous, a lot of times we meet them first in the hospital, and the hospital, they have their own security, so PD don't go in there because of their weapons and stuff. But when I walk up to them, or whoever it is, we walk up to them and we introduce ourselves, let them know what we're there for, who we are, and first we try to fill them out and see what they need, if there's anything. Most of the time they don't feel like they need anything because they're comfortable being homeless, being on the streets and doing stuff like that. But a lot of those people that are homeless are not homeless by choice. They're not necessarily needing to be homeless. They got families that's willing to help them and stuff. But in my opinion, they seem like they just don't want the responsibility of doing stuff that they need to do. So we go and meet with them. We tell them what we do. Like if they need medication, we go buy their medications for them. If they don't have insurance, and if they need other things, clothing, food, stuff like that, we'll help them get what they need like that. If they need to go to rehab, we'll sign them up for a rehab program. If they need anything else that they need, basically ID, Social Security card, and benefits, Social Security, and any other benefits like that that they need, we'll try to sign them up for that and get them to get that benefits as well. I can usually break the ice with most of them. The ones that we have as a team that they have a hard time getting to talk to or stuff like that, usually sometimes it takes a while, but usually I can kind of get through to them that they open up to me, because I guess, I don't know, it's maybe the way I approach them. I'm not a case manager, so I don't have to ask 1,000 questions. I don't have to get personal with them. I can talk about something, what they want to talk about. Sometimes it's as easy as saying good morning, and then they'll tell me, I say, well, what do you need, what's going on? And they'll tell me the story. And all the questions that they might get asked by a case manager, they might just give me that information without me asking for it. Sometimes when you ask questions, it kind of shuts them down a little bit. A lot of people don't want you to be knowing everything about them, but I get to know them. It's a few of them that even that's not with us anymore, I still go and meet them. The one that I can, off the top of my head, that I'll have a real good rapport with is one of the guys that was one of our hardest people to get to go to the doctors and get to do anything. Well, he's now in the state hospital, and I still visit him. Even though he's not on our team, I visit him every month. And he got where now that if I don't come, he'll call me and tell me, basically he wants 2 Big Macs, 2 apple pies, and he wants 2 Sprites. And so I'll go in there and I'll sit down with him and eat with him. And we might not say more than 5 words, but he expects me to come every month like that. So that's one of the ones that I can talk about, that what he knows now, he don't understand it at first, but he thinks I'm helping him, but he's actually helping me, because whatever I do is nothing compared to what I get out of what they do, especially if they come out successful.
Elaborate more on that. What do you mean by that, helping you? What has this meant for you?
Well, I have to start off with my background maybe so you to understand that, but I always understood in my coming up, I always believed in the fact that you always got to keep God first in your life. You know, if you don't have God first in your life, things are not going to be to the full potential which you could have. So in saying that, this is not a disclaimer, but since I'm going to say that, I can't really talk about God that much without talking about my pastor, Reverend Lester Gillespie Jr., a senior, and I've known him for over 60 years. We actually grew up together. His dad was my first preacher, pastor, and now he's my pastor. I only had two pastors, and both of those were out the same family. And not only with that, my church is Greater Love Missionary Baptist Church, which our motto is where love abides. And so anybody that comes in there, they get met at the door by the love. They can feel the love. You don't have to tell them, but they come in there, and most of the time they will come back. So when I think about that, when I talk to these people that, especially the ones that I get to meet, after about me meeting them 2 or 3 times without me even saying them, because the first thing I'm gonna tell them is God bless you, and when I leave, I'm gonna tell them that, and that I love them. I mean, it's not a love that's people don't like, but I'll tell them, hey, I love you, and then after next time I see them, when I leave, they'll tell me, God bless you, I love you, and stuff like that, and that means a lot, because sometimes the easiest way to make somebody's day, you know, we never know what they're going through, and sometimes, most of the time, like in EMS, you're seeing people on the worst day of their life most of the time. You called out for something bad, but sometimes these people, they think they're doing what they need to do. They're having fun. They out there doing their drugs, doing whatever, drinking and stuff. That's fun to them. And so we got to try to curtail their mind thinking like that by showing them. Sometimes you show somebody that you care about them, that starts off the relationship that you have with them. Most of the people that I see, I definitely have a relationship with them. So when I say they help me, it's not like physical help, but when I walk off and I see them the next time, and they're getting better and better every time I see them, and they do backslide from time to time, but they always remember, you know, when you tell somebody something like about God and Jesus Christ, they might not want to hear it, and I don't preach it to them, but when something comes along in their life, at this moment that something's not fitting right with them or something, they'll call me and they say, hey, Melvin, I understood what you was talking about now. You know, so that helps me, because, you know, God do say what you do for the least of them, you're doing for him. So
obviously we're here because you're celebrating 50 years, which is a long, long time.
Mm-hmm.
How would you characterize these 50 years with SAFD? How would you describe it?
Unbelievable. You know, I didn't know all of this, and it don't seem like 50 years. Like right now, I still remember my days in drill school, you know, so back in 1975, I remember the first day we was in a boxcar over there on Zazamora Street. So, but I remember a lot of things that happened back then, and one thing that I learned from being in the fire department, I learned that before I got to be, I was a probationary firefighter, but before I got out of drill school, I learned that right then and there is that we're a team. We got to do things together. I mean, nobody can do anything by themselves. You might think you're doing stuff by yourself, and I don't think they do that anymore, but the way I learned that is they had, back in those days, they had all wooden ladders. And so they had one ladder, I think it was probably about 55 feet tall, and it had 2 poles on the side, and there's 2 guys holding those 2 poles, and there's 4 guys on the ropes. It's called a banger ladder, and you'd have to go up that ladder, and there's nothing holding it but those guys that's on those ropes. And when you get up to the top and you look down, you remember everybody that was on that rope, you know, and everybody that you saw. So that lets me know then that we all need each other. It's a teamwork, and anytime you think of you can do stuff by yourself without being a team, you just imagine what would happen if one of those guys is not holding that rope. So if all it takes is one of them to slack up on it, and then your demise is there. So I just think it's awesome. I mean, there's no other job like it, nowhere. I mean, I'm not gonna say this is the best job, but this is the job that fit me exactly what I needed. You know, the bad thing I could say about it was when I was going through the testing and stuff. The testing part was not a problem. It was nothing hard about the testing part. The screening board was no problem. The only problem I had with getting in the fire department was my mom, bless her soul, because my mom was really protective of me. Never could, you know, people laugh and say that we have to be on the porch, you have to be inside when the street lights come on, stuff like that. And that's the way it was in my house. So when I got in the fire department, when they came around and asking questions, they went around the neighborhood, asked you all your neighbors about you and stuff like that. Well, when they asked my mom questions, she told them everything negative about me because she didn't want me to be in there. And so, matter of fact, even once I got in the department and I was still living there, I still had to be home by 11. I mean, she didn't believe me staying out. I never hardly stayed out 24 hours nowhere, so we had a 24-hour shift. And so where I was stationed at that time was on Austin Highway, and we lived over here on the east side, so she couldn't show up at the station all the time. But for some reason, I was on a truck over there at 24 station over there, and when they canceled that truck, I didn't know anything about it. They wasn't telling me nothing about putting a letter to go where you want to go. They sent that truck to 38th, which is on Riddleman Road, and they sent me to the east side. And I just really thought my mom had something to do with that because she was at my work more than I was, pretty much, you know, and everybody knew her. She knew everybody on all 4 shifts, all 3 shifts in fire and all 4 shifts in EMS. And so the big thing about that is I didn't even think about promoting because I was comfortable where I was. I did 26 years in firefighting before I got in EMS. Then I ended up doing 19 years in EMS before I came to MIH, and I've done my 5 years here. But the whole time, other than when I went to number 9s from the station out there on Austin Highway, I stayed at the same station I was at the whole time until I left, except for number 9s. The only reason I left number 9s, it was a station out there. W.W. White Road was like the city limits almost at that time. So every time we would make a fire way out there, and it was a station like a country club station for us. Everybody there was older and stuff, you know, seniority and stuff. So every time they made a fire, we'd have to go put a fire out for them because they was older. And I mean, they knew what they were doing, but they just couldn't do it. And one day we made a fire at a house over there, and that's what made me decide that I was gonna go to that station when one of those guys left. We had a fire on the east side, and 3 little kids got burned up in a house over there, and that just tore me apart. You know, we didn't have people that come out and talk to you about these fires and about these stuffs and these deaths and stuff like that. I thought that when it happened, I thought it was nothing, but then more I seen when they was in there and how they was at the windows and stuff. And by the time we got there, they was already about gone. But it's just something like that among a lot of other things. You know, my weak spot is kids and older people, you know, so I guess I'm my own weak spot right now.
You're from San Antonio?
No, I'm from Seguin.
From Seguin?
Yes, sir.
From around the area?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I've been here all my life. My mom was just there when I was born, so.
And listen, you got to follow Mama's rules. So
Still.
No, I get it.
I still do, yeah.
I
I never had paid attention to firefighting or the EMS or fire or nothing. My uncle was a firefighter. Jimmy Holmes is my uncle. He was a firefighter. Actually, when he took the test, he came down here to my mom's house, and he did most of his stuff from down there. So, but that still didn't encourage me to be one because, back then everybody just thought the firefighting was the most horrible job you can do and really, really dangerous, yes. But another story, that reason I think it's really good that I did get into that, because when I was at that station, when I moved to the other station on W.W. White Road in 1989, my house caught on fire. And I was at home on vacation that day, and if I would have been at work, I had my wife and my 2 kids were there, and my wife was pregnant with my 3rd kid. So I was able to, through the training that I got, which I probably wouldn't have been able to do it. I know I wouldn't have been able to do it without it, because they was in the back bedroom. The fire was between them and me. And they was in 2 different bedrooms, and I had to go through, and there was burglar bars on the doors, so I had nothing else to do, but they had the wall heaters in that time. So it was a wall heater in the hallway, and my house had a hallway about this wide, so I had to go through there to get to where they were and get them out of there. But the fire department have, I say, saved my life and saved my family, because that was, I can still see it right now. And they was all still sleeping there, you know.
Wow. And everyone's okay.
Yes, everyone's okay.
In these 50 years, did you ever consider doing something else? Did you ever think, okay, I gotta bounce, I gotta try something else, or no?
No. I've never even been to a retirement seminar or nothing. I really walk away from people that talk about retirement, you know, because I think this is, and another reason I really think if I would have retired at 20 years or 30 years or 40 years or even 50 years, it's a lot of stuff that happened to me in my life when I didn't retire that being in the fire department saved my life. You know, I had prostate cancer. If I wasn't in the fire department, the board and the team that we have right across the street here, they sent over there, my PSA was up. You know, they told me I was good and stuff, but I was not, I didn't go for that. I told them, hey, if I want to just see what's going on. So I had them do a biopsy. I had prostate cancer. And the screening that we do over there at the Wellness Center, a lot of stuff I've had that was found out through them, or not my primary care doctor, because the primary care doctors don't really do the screening and stuff they have. Even they have cancer screenings and stuff at our training facility. And I went over there and I found out I had Barrett's esophagus, which could turn into cancer. I had a hiatal hernia, stuff like that, that if I wouldn't have got, if I would have retired. I might have would have got it, but I just think God left me here for a reason. I'm still kind of able to do my job for the most part. And so when I get off from work every evening, all I'm thinking about is coming to work that next day.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Ready to get back to it?
Ready.
What time does your day start?
It starts, I was supposed to be at work at 7. We have a little meeting at 8:30, but I usually leave my house about 5:30 or 6. But even when I was in EMS and fire, you know, I'd always want to leave home early, because anything could happen. I'd never want to be late for nothing. You know, if I'm gonna be late for something, it's gonna be late leaving work. It's not gonna be late coming to work. And that happens a lot of times.
And then your day ends around?
My day ends probably 10:30, because when I get home from now, like I see people all day long, and if I stop seeing people to write my notes up while I'm working, then I won't get to see but 4 or 5 people, you know, because it's a lot of entails in writing those notes. So I'll probably go out about three hours worth of notes writing once I get home or something like that. So, and then I go back over it, and then I make my little list out for who I'm gonna see the next day, and then I'm ready for that next day.
So from what I'm gathering from the previous comment, no plans of retirement anytime soon for you?
No.
You still got it in you to keep going?
I'm retired, but I'm just working. I'm already retired. When I came to MIH, that's like retirement. You know, it's not like EMS where you're up 24 hours and you're up all night long. When I do work overtime, where I have to stay up not stay up, but work overnight, it does get to me. Like in EMS, it didn't bother me. You know, there used to be people tell me they worked the 24 hours, and then the next day they had to sleep the whole day to get off, but I can't sleep that much. I was 19 when I started, but they canceled the class, and then they put it was a month. I turned 20 in August, and we started in September the 2nd.
So you started at 20?
Like a week from my 20th birthday, yes.
Oh, wow. And then now, I can't do math. Do you mind me asking you?
70.
70?
Yes, sir.
So,
And that was a couple of weeks ago, August 23rd.
happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
If there's something, Mr. Fitzgerald, that you would want someone to take away from your story, and it could be anything, what would it be for you?
It would be, again, keep God first of all. And after that, it would be to be who you are. You know, everybody can't be me, because I'm the best me that can be. So be who you are, because as my pastor says, if you're not who you are who you ain't. So be who you are. I mean, it's not bad to aspire to be like somebody or do what they do, but be who you are, because nobody can be better you than you are. Only thing I want to say is those guys you see standing in the corner, or one sitting down, without those guys, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be nothing. So I do want to give thanks to them, thanks to the fire department. And on top of thanks to the fire department, I want to give thanks to the city of San Antonio. And on top of that, I just want to give thanks to my Lord and Savior, because without him, I won't say I wouldn't be nothing, but I wouldn't be here.